Sanbanani, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Green Pastures Coaching here online. My name is Tsogofatsa Apane. I'm a relationship and marriage coach, and I help couples rebuild, restore, renew their broken or challenged marriages. In this relationship status. But anyway, I am with Mr. Tap as usual.
I am seated with Mrs. Coach Seated today.
Yeah.
Coach Seated. My relationship coach.
So last week we spoke about that. Today we'll be talking about the awaiting period, right? Yeah. But to tell you like a story, ne? So today I went to complete my documents for the car and whatnot, right?
This owner here.
And I didn't get what I needed to do because of apparently manali cut off time or cut off what you know.
Right.
But anyway, then I get to the mall, and so because I'm preparing for the buying clothes and stuff so of course Valencia is going to school next year, and obviously there's a lot of things in terms of if it's not school fees, it's transport. If it's not transport, it's uniform. There's a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
And last week when I went to Clearwater, I was just reflecting on how as people we put so much pressure on ourselves. So I can shop one which I go to, right? When I go to Clearwater, there's this long aisle I know where I get clothes. Like literally go Clearwater, it's Mr. Price after Mr. Price, it's Truworths after Truworths, it's Fortune after Fortune, it's Edgar's after Edgar's, it's Ackermans and Pig and Pay.
Sheesh.
Do you understand? And then
Then start again.
and then I will decide after
Shopping with you. Yeah.
So I don't have, but I was realizing, I'm like, why am I putting so much pressure on myself? You know?
Yeah.
And I just needed to have that conversation. Why giving it a pressure unnecessary, so you know? And of course the pricing in terms of the shop at the twine.
Of course, yeah.
But I was like, you know, when today my plan was, I know what I got the last time. So this time get what a skipper, what a takudan. Shem.
Not you. No.
Yeah, but I just felt like yes, we talk about living beneath your means, but there is also that psychological factor of how people perceive you based on the clothes you buy, the shops that you buy, you know. There's people who can buy clothes more shopping eco class, pricing eco class. But are smart, and I know now I struggle, you know. There are times where I'm like, okay, no, I'm not doing bad. But the other times I'm like, oh, I can really do better, you know. But sometimes we think having to buy at an expensive shop, then it creates a certain perception.
Yeah.
You know. But I think today's topic is about the pressure. Of course, because I am a marriage and relationship coach. The topic is rather more aligned within that path of how, as women, we put so much pressure on ourselves to want to get married, to be married, to have husband, and I would like to just for us to discuss that particular thing. I feel like I've been talking for so long. Anyway, so last week, I think it was last week, I was talking to a friend of mine, a Christian sister, and she's like, we posted on WhatsApp, and she's like, I want to vent. I can even imagine what's wrong. I want to vent. And she's basically venting about how she's still not married. Like ahuna husband. I see and Mrs. Mangma. Yeah, I loved I know I would like to vent with you, you know. Let's vent, you know. Let's vent about it. But as much as women put so much pressure on themselves to want to be married, do men do that?
No.
Oh, that makes us feel better. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Simple answer, no.
So you don't feel pressure that I need to be married, I need to have a family, I need to have get the same Mrs. Mangma. You don't feel the pressure.
Can I speak about me?
Please.
For a change.
Please.
Talk about other men.
Yeah.
Not as a man, right? right? It's quite very important.
Yeah.
Right? I know the importance of me having a wife.
Yeah.
I know the importance of having my children and having that shelter. Calling, a home. That's it's important. Right? And maybe the might it can have some pressure eventually. There's some pressure external sometimes with the example I just wish to have my family, but sometimes the finances how you do mainly. Let's say you have the finances, but the person that you have, you might have the money, but you have the person. Sometimes you have the person, but you don't have
the money.
The money.
Sure.
So, but then it also comes from some of the experiences. Where, of course, women want to get married. I want to get married. Definitely, I do want to get married to my Proverb 31 woman. So yeah, we do have those things. I think I might also speak for other men, but where we are, where we come from in terms.
Yeah. So as a man, you don't feel the pressure. You know it's going to happen, but you know that's what's going to happen.
Sure.
So I guess then it's a bit different for us as women. Besides leading other man, I think there's a lot of things that makes us put pressure on ourselves. And I say that I don't think it's always external where we allow external things. I do understand that first and foremost, as Basadi, as any human being, we go through what we call a development stage. And a development stage is there is that social expectation, but psychologically as well, to say after you've completed your matric and going into varsity, that whole process. The whole process. You go to varsity or whatever college or you work, and after your college, which is 3-4 years, when you start working,
35.
Just around that time you should be in rather at least a stable relationship and maybe la plan at the same time we are going to get married and so forth. So especially for a lot of people, because of where our parents got married about 2022 and so forth, there is a majority of other women who are only actually getting into some sort of stability in terms of career when they are just above the age of 25 and they're only getting married and with that development stage of wanting to have a family, some of the excuses we use is that biological clock if personally for now I would say I don't obviously get want a family, but I wouldn't want a second child out of wedlock with my first one. In other instances, I'd like to also believe there's something I'd like to say is women marry not for love, but to escape their childhood traumas. So some. And I guess some is there's a notion that basadi badi two never badi lemon one. So meaning when me as a woman and my mom, we can't live in the same house because our personalities start clashing. The needs I want to make rules for myself. And sometimes you may not either be earning enough for you to live out, and sometimes it's that comfortability. I don't want to live in a room. If you move out of home, it must either be in my own house or in a flat. And sometimes depending on your career, you cannot necessarily afford to do that only one. So therefore your ticket is there. Has BB. Especially when you find yourself in a relationship where you genuinely love the person, but you most of the time when you start feeling okay, I love this person, and our relationship is good, you start feeling okay, now we are ready for marriage, to do the things that needs to happen, right? Without having to consider. So oftentimes it's not because of but it's because there's a certain benefit that you are receiving out of the guy marrying you. Right? And I'm not saying, I think also with my experience in terms of my childhood and so forth, I'd probably be one of those women who would most likely to want to marry. Not I won't marry you because of I don't love you, but meaning there is also a greater benefit. I'll be changing my surname, and for now it's my ticket of going out of home. Do you understand? That's another one Baba, where they live in really good families, or they live Balibang, or whatever the case may be. But there's just, can I call it a grooming thing? I don't know. Maybe a certain way that we are groomed, that at a certain stage you need to be married. And secondly, I think there's a certain stage where you are comfortable being alone, you are comfortable being single, but there's a stage also that just happens just naturally, where you're like, to my husband and children. And when that pressure comes in very strong, then obviously my first person came out. It's my partner in crime. So anyway, it's with your friends, especially if you guys been dating for a very long time. It's like you can't be dating 4 or 5 years. Whereas we know there are people who've been together for like 10 years and after 10 years.
Of course, yeah.
Now I'm like, guys, get now 3 years, 2 years.
You won't see 2 years with me.
Aye, but it's as men.
Just say if I'm does.
I know, but I think I had to do a lot of inner work. You know, it's different now. But I also think it's also different. Obviously, there's a lot of other things that are contributing. But I think it's something maybe when we have our book, when we complete our book, that we'll be able to talk deeply in terms of the process. But there's a lot of couples that, for example, who come in and we've spoken to and coached, and oftentimes it's always the woman who puts quite a lot of pressure onto the men to get married. And maybe when we start divorcing and having the unnecessary fights, and mainly because at that particular time the man was not ready to take that particular commitment.
Which is true.
Yeah.
Definitely true.
Yeah.
And speaking about that level of pressure, right? I just can I give you a scenario, right? From the many years, or many years ago. Remember when the rocks were still soft? Yeah. I was also in a relationship of that soft. Whereby, well, we're cool, nice relationship, very young of us, but there was this day. Obviously, it did not just happen. There's been conversations about marriage in between, but are you gonna marry me? As individual, I do. It's like, no, we'll get married. But Lady X no. More brother O telling his speech. So because she doesn't want to lose out in the relationship, that's one. Or maybe a typical example that you just made, or you're escaping your
certain traumas,
right? So let's take it off from if I pressurize brother, and obviously and I can come do you understand? So you know what happened, That's other thing, man. But no man, go back in the shop Alexandria.
American Swiss.
American Swiss. American Swiss. Walking, let's go fit in. Let's go fit in.
So who's suggesting we must go inside?
Okay. Obviously.
Okay. Yeah.
We're walking, we fit in. At least I know what's my size of my ring. Or I don't wish it's my size of ring. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We walked in, we fitted. And something hit.
Yeah.
We bought the ring.
Yeah.
And irregular ads it. I think it was supposed to be a surprise event or something, but just that it happened. Not my intention was not to buy the ring. My intention was just to fit in and then see what offers we have of rings. But we bought the ring. I actually bought the ring and made sure that I can catch.
Okay. Yeah.
This is how bad she wanted the marriage or to be married.
Yeah.
Do you understand? The pressure that was mounting, it lies on both sides, right? Yes, she wanted to be married, right? I also wanted to get married with her, but I think the timing in between.
Yeah.
She couldn't wait for me for the right time or get to present her the actual ring to her. So the best thing, we take a letter, and then, brother, you are going to propose now.
No, but she didn't buy the ring. You are the one who paid for the ring.
Yeah, I paid for the ring, but I was not ready to purchase the ring. Obviously, I get the ring. It means that since you go propose,
that's what you agreed.
I don't happily.
There's something I like what you're saying, and I'm going to be on the side of the woman.
The woman, sure thing.
Is that you're not ready, right?
Right.
why are you going ahead with it? This is not what you want.
I can like Rona Banna, ne? Rona Banna or Nana as Mon, I can go to beach. So I'll go on. In how to Mamora, it also you also explain what that's why the divorce they didn't and stuff because of we do this just because of Akneko beach. So I'd rather buy this ring.
At the end.
Exactly. So that's why we are here today to solve all these challenges from the beginning. Maybe from the back.
But part of the conversation is it's about you having as a man to stand your ground.
Exactly.
To say
I've learned. So right now and all the men who are watching now, him if experiencing something of that sort, had baby ring or no, not now.
So company baba mo in
avoid, but from now on since so
that means na hanga tsamadwena ga ya molong ne ba tla kena mo tlhemo tha ke fetsa mo ke we are buying the
because of we know what we're not supposed to do it because I've learned and we also discussed
it
and then I don't you understand but this means in 10 years 20 years time it will be over but we're going to get happily we're not patient enough and you do not wait for it or give a sharp pay or eat here willingly from the bottom of my heart and baby he is in the house.
Or maybe you might not even do it. It's because you might
maybe time.
Because you may be thinking, it will feature, and I'll be sitting here patient enough. Can't I?
If now I made it, then it's not gonna happen.
You know what happened?
But if time allows, it might even happen.
There was this other. It's not even this. I posted this about this thing. There was this other guy my sister, we're gonna go. I think we have a session again. After having a session while we're busy talking, and he's explaining the situation, and it's like, no, but sister, you know how now we are. So badly, you move on to the next person. When you will find out for yourself, meaning that you won't come to me and tell me, I don't think this relationship is working. But especially if you're forced out, don't go until someone who I think is going to be my scapegoat to the kids, you know. And he was explaining that, and I even posted because I can't understand why can't you talk about it. Meaning, obviously, we also have that conversation. Right now, all things are good. Oh well, you know, you love to. But what happens when you're going to decide in your lifetime? You decide, okay, you know what? I don't think this is what I want. Maybe that's what I wanted now, but I don't think this is what I want. Will you then have a conversation with me? I know I've promised that I was going to marry you, I was going to do 1, 2, 3, but I'm unable to do it because of these reasons.
Right.
Because I want to
you see, in the right way, it's how it's supposed to be done.
Yeah.
Right? But you see, we avoid the unnecessary divorces.
Yeah.
Right? That's the best way that should be done. But
communicate.
Yeah, let me communicate it to you. Like, you know what? For the past X amount of years, right? I promised you to marry you. But I've experienced 1, 2, 3, and I think that's where you and I have to end.
Yeah.
About. Understand?
After you've wasted my time.
No, it's not wasting your time.
You wasted my time. Not like you did more because you some shit. And another.
At least I'm honest.
And you know another.
So what do you? Okay. So Fudge, let me ask you this question, right? What do you prefer? We go to Clearwater, I buy you the ring. Hi. Right. The simplest question is ever. What do you prefer? Ragomolo, right? American Swiss Esma. Get a medal, ring, right? Get a ring.
The gold bed.
Yeah. Get a ring. Right? Happily take a ring. And then you are happy and I'm not happy, right? And then 10 years, 20 years later, then we divorce. Right? Or we just continue as a relationship but unhappy.
Yeah.
Or do you prefer now when I say that it's not working, right? No, let's end it here. Which truth do you want to hear?
I want to hear the truth.
The truth of me saying no, I don't want to marry. I don't marry you now.
I think of course I've experienced the pressure. I'm not gonna be like pretend like yes because I'm a life coach my life is perfect. No, not at all.
Right.
But I've as a human being, as a woman, I've experienced that pressure, and that's why I always say
Which
it's
pressure?
the pressure of wanting to be married,
right?
And it's also understanding it's the pressure that we actually put ourselves in. It's not anyone else. But there is also things in my own understanding. So that you are able not suppress. You don't suppress the feeling, but have a conversation with yourself about what you are currently experiencing, because it's a natural thing. It's like it's and get that one step, and it's the process. I understand as a development stage is a process that as a woman you will experience. However, there are ways and means you can focus that pressure and that the those kind of thoughts in until a period until you are okay with it. You understand. And also it's also understanding what is this deep thing that makes you want to get married, right? Of course, I don't think me being in a stable relationship with you and I'm okay with us living apart. No, that's not the vision. It's not what I want, of course, know. But it's also understanding. I think also understanding the repercussions of the divorce and just how, and also having to experience you can be actually lonely in a relationship. You can be alone in the relationship. I think it's always best to wait. But hey guys, the waiting period. The waiting period is something else, and and having said that, right? But my preference is I'd prefer that you tell me the truth.
Wait, now. What then?
No, tell me the truth in whichever the time that you experience that feeling.
Exactly.
If you are, for example, if you are experiencing man, what I used to think is not what I think it is. Be honest with it. It wasn't that I was wasting your time, but it just happens. I've started to feel in this particular way,
Perfect. Well done.
Now, fact is we want to be married. So here's the scripture, right? Habakkuk verse 2. And it says that write the vision down, make it clear on tablets so that anyone can read it quickly. The visions will still happen at an appointed time. It hurries towards its goal. It won't be a lie. If it's delayed, wait for it. And it will certainly happen and it won't be late.
I love that. Wait for it.
Yeah.
Right? And then
in actual fact, in the other books, it describes it as write that vision down, make it plain, make it simple, and wait for the herald to read it, or wait for someone to read it, right? And it says that how it's described, right? And it will not delay. This one, it sort of tells you about if it's delayed, still wait for it. But it's the waiting period that I want us to talk about, which is, what do you think then women should do within that waiting period, as opposed to pressurizing you as a man to say, to a point where we now formulate things. Now I can go shopping like with your experience. And then now I'm forcing you to buy the ring, and also me forcing you to buy the ring, and then I end up paying part of that ring. What do you think that women should do? Because fact is we are experiencing the pressure, right? Fact is there's a development stage. Fact is we are feeling like what do you think then we should do as women?
I know exactly what you should do.
Right?
You need to be patient. What should you do during the process of being patient? Remember what being patient means, right? It's an ability to wait. Simple, right? It's an ability to wait. So what you need to do as women actually depends on us as men.
It's like, when you're walking in the Kopanalibato or whatever, and it's like, so when you shut down, and I'm like, guys.
Exactly. It depends on us, right? So, Linda, I get that a lot. My sister, wait a Friday. Wait a Friday. Right? So what?
And they've also put time frame.
Absolutely.
In people that people in my church that you've met.
Yes.
They've also placed a time frame for you.
So we know what Emeka. So for you, who are patient, what you need to do depends on us. Let me tell you why.
No, which is very true. Which is very true. Yeah.
It depends on us. Let me open the bank account. No? Like if you look over and every single month gets inside 1,000 rands, 1,000. We born so that your patients can be physical. You know that when you want to check our bank account,
this is how far we are. That's a nice
we are getting somewhere.
Yeah,
do you understand?
yeah.
It's unlike
Oh yeah, I'll do it.
Like you asking, or just having like, do you have an account? Are you selling it? Save. Okay, one day go what's one day? Can't say.
Yeah.
So
and you lose the
absolutely.
Actually, you love the person.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely. So that's
but because of the dishonesty,
yes,
then I lose trust to a point where now why am I in this relationship?
Absolutely. So what women should do? Brother men run with us. Yes, no go I'll make sure with account.
Yeah.
Account that we can both monitor, right? Revita, yala me or whatever, right? My wedding, something, right? So that you can, as a woman, okay, you process. Lobola is money, and then if you see that the money is mounting, then you're gonna be very happy as a woman. That's my solution to
it. He's saving.
Yeah, then you're gonna be patient.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
That's patient.
This is how much.
Even if it's 100 rands every single month, you know that 12 months from now it will be 1,200
200 years later.
At least. Now you as a woman, you don't want to then play a role that it's 100 rand every month. Okay. Help me that even 1,000 rands every month. I get even Jan. Because I would have just started studying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I remember when you asked Jorge about the bad loan.
Right. Right.
And about how do I feel about
yes. My question to you was like, how do you feel that if I take a loan, right? Then I am husband and wife. Then I'll pay in picture and picture.
I must say again.
No, but you don't have to pay anything. I'm paying the money back.
No, but this is my analogy to this.
Right.
Maya owns a 60 grand.
Yeah.
Owns a 60 grand for a loan.
Right.
Yes, when you go Japan, you've paid
everything.
Right?
Right.
Now because the perception is you've paid, that means we can actually prepare for the wedding in the next 3 months. Right? Now we prepare for the wedding in the next 3-4 months. Right? Now the question is going to be, after 3 months of that particular ceremony that's done, you will still be paying that loan again.
Yes.
We understand. Yeah. So there's a difference. If you loan, I'm guaranteed to this loan in the next 2-3 months, because you know something is coming up. That's a very different story. But at the same time, I feel like, why not wait? If you're guaranteed in the next 2-3 months you're gonna have that money, why don't you? Or rather put it in investment. So my analogy to it is that means by the time the ceremony and everything is done, still you would have not completed that loan. And you know what happens? I am Mr. Mamela, listen. So now, we've signed, we sit down and we calculate our finances the way we've discussed, right? And then when we sit down, we calculate our into-in. I'm now noticing there's this loan that we must pay every month.
Yes.
I can't say to you, Mr. Tap, deal like a loan. Because the finances get our own as we are a partnership.
Yes.
Meaning that if there's 50,000 rand again from both of us, then it's going to say 4,000 rand or 10,000 rand to cover up that loan.
Of course, yes.
No, Mr. Seth. Because
what?
I paid my own loan.
Oh.
Yeah. Meaning that because I'm the one who's paying, that's why I'm like, rather be patient enough.
Exactly.
Rather be patient enough. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't come, it comes. But there's something I was learning, when we were at that event, and you're like, you must pray for your husband, and I pray for the zip, and pray for this position and stuff. Sometimes you may feel very, if as a woman you are feeling pressured about you getting married and what. Pray for your husband, pray to God for this guy that you've given me. Please give him the means so that he can pay the bridal fee or honor my parents in this particular way. Because sometimes, and the thing even when you are within the marriage and you guys experiencing certain challenges, remember the fight is not, because it's easier now you haven't paid lobola, you promised you were going to do it within a year, you promised you were going to do it at this particular time, you understand. But instead of having to understand things happen along the journey, instead of understanding their part, I now start perceiving you very different. And so this guy is wasting time. But also I have lost that trust in you for me to think that you can provide for us.
Sure.
But instead of me having to think like that, there are other ways of you having to pray for your husband, to say, or pray for your future husband, to say, God, give him the means to cover up and do all the other things that we want to do in our life. When you read the book of Habakkuk, it's such a very painful scripture as well, to say, write the vision down. And you're writing down the vision in 2024 on this particular day. And you're going to, you're going to praise and worship along those times. And the question is, what if it doesn't come? I've just discovered, I was on Instagram the other time, and then this Pastor Chris Matebula wrote this book. The book is it's called Strength. And basically, I haven't read the book. I'm still waiting to get a response about the book. But the book is basically, it's like after you've prayed about everything. Because now I've got a list of things I want. But after you've prayed and you felt like you've done everything, you've fasted, you've done one, this is what you then need to do. I can't wait to read the book. I want the book. I can't really more, But I'll probably give a review about the book sometime after Gifetso Khoitola and after reading it. But I think it spoke to me, because there's a list, right? There are top 4 things that are particularly important to me, and also because when it says make it, write the vision down, and the vision comes in different ways. At times the vision is what we think we want. At times a vision is what God has communicated to you. And the most, especially when God has communicated that vision to you, and you've written down, and you're like, Kanti, Mahafara God, you've given me this vision, and I'm still waiting. You said it will not delay. I must wait for it. And you are waiting for it. Kanti, how long? And unfortunately, there's certain things we can't even. A response to it. There's no explanation to it about what do you do in the waiting period. Because what can you do in the waiting period except to be patient, to wait, to pray and praise God.
Absolutely.
So I think it's important to don't put pressure on your partner. They must get married. There are bigger repercussions and even much more painful. What's about too? It's your secret lady too. But I can imagine if, let's say, it's a mother and I'm like, let's go to the store and then we buy the ring, with your experience.
The pressure is very painful.
I think at
the back of my mind, you also lose respect for the actual person who's forcing this thing to take place. Because how, in my mind, I'm thinking, how did she now navigate through the fact that she's got this ring? And now since you guys are no longer together, obviously not still doing it.
But I'm from Peru, I understand. I'm just thinking about it. Now I can imagine I've got this ring on my finger, and having this ring on my finger, and we are no longer together. How do I navigate through the insane that I did not, that I wasn't sent to, I brought myself to it, So, I think the things that we do to ourselves, but I think it's important to have self-conversations, and if it's not coming, pray about it. Pray about it, and it would look good to see this. The people have been married for 2 years and they are divorcing. 1 year and they are divorcing. And now it didn't say I want to marry you. And a banner can be very hateful.
How much I need to you? Look how cool. God, not that secret. No, could be done.
I cannot admit it. It's a type.
Javan need in the one basad. And the age of one, but it's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
But
Then Nashem, I won't say I will know what to do. I'll just pray about it. Alright.
but you can also say Napalas Nakalomia.
I know, but for me the difference is that I would say Peranazang if we know Toronto, then it's like if I said that, my response my expectation to your response would be Nazanga Hudumele. Must keep it in
Then I want to go up
I want
divorce. It's something that we don't promote here at Green Pastures Coaching, right? Sure.
Words about how us women put pressure.
Parting words, Bona. Let's pray about everything first, right?
Yeah.
Let's try have a solution that will work for both of us. For me as the future husband and for you as my future wife, right? Obviously it means finances. That's why I propose. So let's talk about our budget. Like, this is how it's going to happen. This is happen. We're not this is where we are right now.
And I think that's the thing. It's good to, like what you're saying, it's good when as a man you have the money, but the person is not the right person for you. Or you don't have the money, but the person underlying it is only the help.
But yeah,
and that's where the conversation was. This conversation about what happens when you find there's a man who really, really loves this woman. They want to spend the rest of their lives together, but they're gonna put a certain price. I don't know if Mr. Tip can afford or not, and they're gonna put a certain price to say this is what we are going to, how we want our child to be honored. And then so what happens is that. What happens when your future husband cannot afford what you are providing?
Will you allow him to take a loan?
Oh, okay. I see. and I think also because you know very well how I feel about the Kolo.
The easiest thing, let's do it at the mine, Rosai.
No. You can't sign for second years.
Okay, then we wait, Pepe.
200 years later.
No, but we wait. Okay, write it down.
Hey guys, but Miss A.
I want to pressure you. I will hard.
You must work hard.
Okay, now I'm ending. Okay, thank you. I'm ending I'm going to work. I need to go.
You must work.
End the show, then I'm going to work.
Yeah.
Shut your fire.
Yeah. Pray for your husband.
Oh, no, Mrs. P, ne?
Yeah.
Alright.
Christmas.
Christmas. Yeah.
But I love that. I love the honesty to it.
Yeah.
But I think it's very important to be vigilant. Don't put pressure on. I think we've spoken about it. We've said it enough. Yeah. Don't put pressure on yourself. And to live their best life with their husbands. Yes. They've earned it.
But your time will come.
Your time will come.
Yeah.
And it's if it doesn't come, sometimes it's a thing of you need to fix. There are things I'm not saying this is right, but there are things that you also have to start working on yourself. And because you can imagine how is it when I'm going to start looking at so and so is married and I start putting the pressure on in our relationship. Sometimes it's going to extend the time when God was going to bless me because it's not nice this is not what I wanted and but that's what the relationship useless.
Now you basically won't be happy about anything.
Yeah. Right. You know. Useless man.
When you get a Nobel Peace Prize, that's a good job for you. Peace Prize. You deserve it. You're very peaceful, eh?
Of course.
Now you're a very peaceful person. You're Nobel Peace Presidency. No pain,
one day.
No pressure. No, soon. Okay, soon. Soon can be tomorrow, next week, next month, next year.
I got this house bill. I don't promise. I will continue praying.
The way we think about
no. It's the best way. It's the best way.
Sure.
All right. Thank you so much, and we will see you in our next video. Bye.
Bye. So,